2. Hi everyone, welcome to the 420 Smoke Room. Today our guest is Timothy Duck. He is a fighter on a couple different aspects, but I'm going to kind of let him explain because he has multiple diseases or disorders. Hi Timothy, how are you?
Hello.
Hi.
I'm alright. How about you guys?
I'm good. Had a long day.
Can understand.
Yeah, so how are you overall?
Um, Doing alright overall right now.
That's very good. So I kind of want to start off, let's just jump into it. When did you first start realizing there was some form of medical conditions taking place with you?
About 6.5 years ago.
Okay, and how old are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
30.
Okay, so like when you were 24-ish?
Yeah.
Okay, so what would you say started taking place at that time?
Well, no, I should say, when I was the time I was 22 to 24, what happened was I ended up living in a group home when I hit 21.
Okay.
I ended up living in a group home. Ended up staying there for 5 years, and then I met my best friend.
Okay. And your best friend, how did that change your scenario?
She basically was seeing signs of a struggle in me. Like, she really seen that I was not doing very well in the group home. My anxiety was so much worse.
Okay, and what kind of group home is this, if you don't mind me asking?
State funded group home
Okay, so is
for
this
for adults and stuff like that.
okay? So is it like because here in Michigan, some group homes are like halfway houses or houses rooms where you just like rent a room, or where you are like a ward of the state, or there's many different group homes out here. So when you say that, I was a little confused on the terminology.
You could really actually call it that also, because we did living in the group home, we did house people who were criminals and stuff like that, who are just gotten out of prison or jail.
Yeah, so almost like a halfway house or a room. Yeah, like a rehabilitation or a halfway house, like where you can rent a room type of thing, but everyone has like their own small space, but then y'all share living spaces.
Yep.
Okay, I just want to make sure I got the good understanding,
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So she came along and started like helping you, which got you onto, it sounds like a good path from what it sounds like where you're headed at this point.
Well, before it got even to the good part.
Yeah, let's get there. I want to hear. I'm ready.
So, I was basically on the edge of honestly killing myself.
Oh.
Honestly, if it wasn't for her, honestly, I wouldn't even be here.
Well, that's amazing. I like that part. Continue.
She started noticing that all my mental health and stuff like that, and then she started pointing out some things. She's like, dude, you living in this house is not very healthy for you right now. I said, all they're doing is, look at you, you're overweight now, from what I've seen from your pictures that you showed me, what you used to look like.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I moved out of the group home finally.
Okay.
And moved in with her and her fiance at the time.
Okay.
And we ended up getting closer and closer. And then one day I heard, I got a phone call that my former stepdad was getting out of prison.
Okay.
So the story with that is my former stepdad, he honestly, I looked up to this man like a father figure at one point. I really did. Until he started to abuse me and my sister.
Okay.
He did certain things to my sister. He did certain things to me. I don't really want to be a little about that over too much, but I kind of lost it.
Okay, were you guys
And
children when like these things happened, or were you guys adults, if you don't mind?
yes, we were children.
Okay, so at this point you're an adult now trying to deal with that what had happened.
The past trauma, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on the verge of just packing my things, and then she told me, she's like, "Dude, I know the best way to help you right now. It might not sound like it's the best way, but this is honestly the best way. You need help, serious help." And I fought and fought with her. I said, "I don't need help. I don't need the hospital. I don't need nothing.
Right. A
I'm
lot
gonna
of
figure
people
this
do.
out on
Like
my
we,
own."
right. Like, a lot of us feel that way, but then kind of we realize that we can't.
And then she was like, "Dude, look, if you're gonna stay here, you gotta get help." So I finally did.
Okay.
And I finally got the help, and I started getting medication. The medications that I was on really wasn't working. The first set of medications. So they put me on newer medications, which the current ones I'm on now,
Okay.
which actually,
So at this point, how old would you say? Like, how long were you in and out of the hospitals trying to figure this out?
I was in and out of the hospital for about 3 years.
Okay, so it was a long trial and tribulations, but eventually you got it under control.
Yeah, and I've also noticed that I tend to do bad things when I'm manic.
Okay. So did you receive a diagnosis at this point with, through the 3 years of like in and out of state, figuring that out, were you able to like receive a diagnosis? Did they diagnose you as like bipolar or anything similar to that?
Not really that I could remember off the top of my head.
Okay.
Um, I do remember I was told I had PTSD, and
Oh,
that was kind of hard to cope with.
okay. And I would assume, but I don't want to assume that would have been from childhood trauma, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to ask. I know you didn't want to bring that up, but I just wanted to see if that's what developed the PTSD.
Yeah, and that developed actually as soon as I hit like 22, 23. That's when
Once you
everything
started
just
trying
started getting
to,
worse.
yeah, once you start dealing with some of those past childhood traumas, the real PTSD starts to kick in because you're kind of reliving it in a way when you're trying to deal with it.
Exactly, and it was very hard.
It is very hard. I commend you, especially for realizing it. And during those years, it's really hard for us to even. At 2021, a lot of people don't know what they want and they chase a bottle and some girls. So at this point, trying to get deep into your mental health and trying to get that situated because of the childhood trauma is a lot for an adolescent man. So I'm very proud of you for taking that on and identifying it and saying, you know what, I'm gonna do this.
I mean, honestly, I'm glad I did make her know, honestly.
I like
'Cause
that. I like that
I
you're
still
moving
wouldn't be
forward.
here today. I wouldn't even really be here today if it wasn't for her.
Well, that's good. I would like to definitely give her a shout out if you would like to. You're more than welcome.
She,
Unless you want her to stay anonymous, that's perfectly.
I'd rather her honestly stay anonymous.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. You got quiet,
Right
and I
now,
was like,
I'm
"Ooh, did I
afraid her
say?"
don't talk.
Sorry. I understand
Yeah,
how
we're not
that
talking
is
anymore.
too. Okay, I get how that is too. Sometimes things don't always work.
It's very heartbreaking.
I'm sorry to hear. So at this point, back at the point where you were getting, in and out of the treatments, trying to figure out your diagnoses, you got PTSD, and then you're out of the hospital. You're on new meds. They're working. Where does it go from there? Does anything else conspire, or were you diagnosed at this point with any secondary issues?
After that, I was diagnosed with anxiety.
Did they give you like I know anxiety, yes, but like like what type of anxiety? Is it anxiety from like what makes you have anxiety per se? Let's ask that better. Yeah, basically.
Say for instance, if somebody was to, you know, walk up to me and they would be like, yo, really quick, and I'll start shaking and be like, yo, what's up? Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, something was going on. The way people would come up to me.
Mm-hmm. So just not knowing what to expect, like from strangers, type of thing, or just not knowing what people want is just people. Okay. So at this point, what is your next step in life? Like, where does this lead you?
This led me to moving out of state of where I was. I was doing pretty well. I ended up moving up to Maine for a little bit.
Okay.
And I was living there for about 6 months, almost about 6 months, about 5.5 months. And kind of just wasn't I wasn't feeling the right person that I was before. I started feeling really depressed. I started having more and more anxiety because I'm not around the people that I'm used to, and I'm not around the doctors that I'm used to. So I'm getting anxiety going to meet new doctors and stuff like that, and then them wanting to change my medication over.
Mm-hmm. Whole new state, whole new regulations, whole new everything. Definitely.
Yep.
So at this point, how did you handle that?
I ended up moving back.
So you said, no, I'm not. I'm just gonna go back home.
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, I'm just gonna go back home. I feel like that's the place I need to be.
Right. Okay. I feel you though. Sometimes I just not knowing like what they want to do or agreeing, and you just gotta be where sometimes.
I pulled off 3 jobs, working 2 jobs. Sorry, not 3. Working 2 jobs in Boise, Idaho, back in 2019. Worked for almost about a year.
Okay. And that was a
about
good time for you, like you were able to manage and while on your medication and everything worked out. It was a good experience.
I had 3 months worth of my medications and stuff like that, so I was pretty much good for the 3 months that I was there. It's just then, like I said, new medication, new regulations, like you said before, and stuff like that, kind of made me feel like, no.
Yes.
I just gotta come back.
Mm-hmm. So when you get back, how do you did you pick up right where you left off, or did the doctors, how did that work?
Went straight where I left off.
Okay. So when did you start to find cannabis as a solution?
I've smoked cannabis recreationally for about 4 or 5 years before I met my best friend, and that's when I started actually smoking a lot more. And then that's when the doctor was like, this is what we can do for you, because I explained my symptoms and how I have a hard time sleeping at night and stuff like that. And he's like, I got the perfect option. It'll probably help you. I'm 100% sure, and you might like this option. I was like, what's that? He's like, we can put you on medical cannabis.
Okay.
I was like, okay, that sounds like a promising thing.
What state were you living in at this time?
The same state I'm living in now, Maryland.
Maryland, okay. And you were like, I'm down, let's do this.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Pretty much.
So how did that process work out there? They just gave you a piece of paper? What did you do next? Tell us a little bit about what the journey entailed.
So, the first thing you had to do was go onto the MCC website, and Cannabis Commission website, and then you would have to fill out this long form, take a picture of yourself on a plain white background.
Mm-hmm.
like if you didn't have anything white in your house, you had to like stick up a sheet. So I had to stick up a sheet for my white background.
Okay.
So you had to use a white background, and then you pay a $50 fee, which now actually went down to $25 now.
Yes, for the disabled, they did start doing that for the disabled on their marijuana cards, giving that discount.
Yep, and recreational just becomes completely available on July 1st this year.
Ooh, so that's exciting for Maryland.
Yep.
So at this point through these years, because you've had your card, you've been able to go to dispensaries out there?
Yeah, I've only been to two of them actually since I've had my card.
What was your experience like?
Very, very friendly and helpful.
What was the quality?
Not so much, but the first one was.
What was the quality of the marijuana? Was it like better than your usual, or worse, or about the same?
Better than what I usually would get off the. It's better than usually what I would get off the street.
Okay.
A lot better.
And was the prices or taxes outrageous, or were they all reasonable?
Yeah, there's it's not the taxes. It's basically the price of the marijuana. For instance, for a gram of concentrates, you're paying $50 usually.
Okay.
For an eighth of it, you're probably paying about 100 to 110 to 150.
Oh Lord. So, have you ever noticed, I know you said you've always been a cannabis smoker before, like, they prescribed it. So, did you, like, ever notice it helping with your anxiety, or did you ever feel like there's times that
I think it did a lot. I think it did a lot. It helped me a lot when I was younger.
Okay. And now that you're older, like, what would you say... When you say, like, oh, I need to smoke, what does that mean for you? Is it because, like, of your body, your anxiety? Like, what are your symptoms that, like, you start realizing, okay, I need to smoke?
Basically, what strike off sometimes is anxiety. Like, first thing in the morning, I'll wake up, I'll start to have a little bit of anxiety. I'll take my medication and let that kick in a little bit. And if it doesn't do exactly that I want it to do in that certain time frame like it's supposed to, I take few hits I'll take like a dab or two.
Okay. Dabs are great.
They are.
Let's just say.
But my favorites.
Yes, I like dabs, but I swear, like, they're so heavy on my lungs and I'm such a choker that I'm more of a blunt type of girl because I can just smoke them casually.
I honestly used to choke on smoking dabs a lot. I used to. Now I don't really as much.
Your body's immune.
Yeah, my lungs gotten immune to it.
Yeah, it's ready. It's like, I'm so used to those coughs, I don't got to do that no more.
I want to cough, that's the problem.
Hey, I'm just not ready.
I don't want to cough.
Like, my lungs, I be coughing when I hit a bong or a bowl. And I don't really like sitting there coughing a lot, so it kind of like deveres me from a lot of those devices. I do like when I'm doing like the wax, when I do it's like a nectar collector is what it's called. I had to think of the name of what they're called. And that works out great because it's not as big of a bong where you're inhaling as much before you consume the cannabis.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like nectar.
Oh oh crap! That was not good.
What happened? Is everything okay?
I dropped my Wi-Fi router.
Oh yeah, that's not good.
I accidentally kicked it off.
So let's go back to your health for a moment. What would you say has been your overall experience with doctors, good or bad?
With the one I have right now, I've not had a really good big problem with her.
Okay, so you're currently happy.
My other doctors in the past have been a real pain.
Let's kind of go over a little bit of that, because what I want to kind of for the audience to understand is how hard it is for PTSD and anxiety patients to get a doctor to actually understand that this is what I'm really dealing with, and I'm not crying wolf. Like, I'm seriously having some issues. I seriously need you to help me, and not in a forceful way, if that makes sense. Does it?
Yeah.
So let's try to explain a little bit of your trials and tribulations that you went through where you had to, like, advocate for yourself.
So I've walked into several places. Well, not walked, technically called. Same thing, but I called several places, and several places would be like months before you see a doctor.
Right, and at that point, I'm
And
dealing with mental health. Like, I need an appointment, like, ASAP while I'm feeling this way, not, like, when I don't feel this way anymore.
exactly. And honestly, if you're not honestly, this goes for anybody, honestly. If you're not finding the help that you need immediately, just check yourself in. Honestly, it's scary, but like honestly, I'm gonna tell you, it's very scary. Excuse my language.
It's okay.
It's very scary. Like at first, but you get used to it after the first day. You start to get to see like that you're not a bad person by checking yourself in, because most people feel like leaving their children behind for a few days, to get their mental health together is what how do I say it? I forget what I was saying. I'm
Well,
sorry.
I think what you were trying to say is that it's okay to check yourself in and take yourself away from your family or your children to get yourself together, is what you were so far saying at this point, and that it's okay. Like, you're not the bad guy. Once you get in there, you start seeing, like, it's okay, and you start adjusting after the day or so and calming down a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got it. So at this point, would you compare those hospital stays to, like, any other hospital stay, whether it was mental or not? I mean, you get your 3 meals a day. They come in, they talk to you. You have a more of, like, meet and counseling sessions, one-on-one. But at a hospital, you kind of, like, do the same thing. You go and you run and get your test done, and, like, you have your own room. And is it similar like that, or what would you compare the experience to if you had to?
Well, when I was in the hospital, I was checked in. Excuse me. I was sharing a room with someone,
Mm-hmm.
and this was at Adventist Behavioral Health in Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay.
2 hours away from where I live.
So yeah, it's kind of scary too, because you're, like, feeling so far from home.
Yep.
So at this point, it's a 2-hour ride. You get admitted. Is it, like I said, more like you got a roommate, but is it still like the hospital set up the rooms, like where you have, like, your bed and your little curtain in between? And does it feel like a hospital stay at a regular hospital, like like when they admit you at the emergency room and they tell you got to stay here a couple days, or
Kind of like that, something similar to that. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that has a scary experience too. I've been through that, but that's, and I've stayed for not as long as you have, but like a month and a half or so. It was probably my longest in-house stay, but I've had lots of surgeries and lots of treatments and lots of days at doctors.
Yeah, my first stay honestly was about a month, just about.
Okay.
I got out a week before Thanksgiving, like a few days before Thanksgiving actually. And I was very thankful for, because I wanted to really spend time with my family.
Right, especially now that you feel healthy and vibrant and you're, like, you're full of life. You want to go home and enjoy your family. I could see that.
Yep, and they were sitting there the hospital was sitting there telling me, I don't think you're ready to go home, and I don't think you're ready to go home. And, like, you're gonna really make me more angry right now. You keep telling me I don't think you're ready to go home. I know when I'm ready to go home.
Mm-hmm.
There was a couple times a couple of hospital staff had to fight with me about that.
And how does that work? Because you're a willing participant, so, like, I mean, they can't actually make you, can they? Like, not go home if you, like, or do they have to approve your go home, or how does that work?
They pretty much have to approve you, even if you check yourself in.
Okay. And then if they don't
Well, it
approve...
might have changed. It honestly, in the past few years, it might have changed now because it's been like 3.5, 4 years since I've been in a hospital.
Okay. But at that time, like, if they don't approve you, what would happen? Like, would you have to stay longer until they do?
Just for like another day or two. Another day or two till they evaluate you again.
Okay, and then after that evaluation, or can they, like, what's the max? Is it reminded me, I had a question, but I didn't want to sound like it was jail because that's not the scenario, but, like, in an interrogation room, they can only keep you 72 hours without, like, the validation reason. So after I want to check... Right. Yeah. So if I want to check myself out, do I just got to be good for 72 hours and show them that I can be behaved and that I can go home?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, and then that evaluation, they'll be like, oh, she's good to go.
Just prove to them that you're feeling better.
Okay, so it is about, like, proving to them and showing that I can do what is
that you're
needed.
not going to go out and hurt somebody or anything like that.
Okay. So
honestly, for you to be able to get into the hospital, is all the words, only 3 words you got to say. There's only 3. I think I can't count the words, but is I am going to hurt someone. That's it. That's all they need to hurt here.
Okay.
That's it. That you're a threat to someone, that you're going to hurt them, and that you need help.
Okay.
And hospitals cannot refuse that.
That's good information for people who are trying to make sure that they get the help that they need.
So I've been dealing with, like, do I have I do have suicidal thoughts still. I mean,
and at this point, how do you handle them? How do you not act on them? Like, what do you do to help yourself? Is there anything that you would do particular?
Just go straight into my Xbox.
So you play games that helps distract you, and does the cannabis help you?
Yeah, yes, that does too.
Okay. Does it, like, relieve, like, how, like, does it relieve the stress, the feeling, the anger? Like, what does it relieve for you, the cannabis?
The stress and the anger that I have built up, it actually just helps, like, cool me, like, keep me calm, because I have a lot of anger. I have anger issues, kind of still. I ain't gonna lie. I'm pretty sure everybody does. But it was getting to the point, a few months ago, it was getting to the point that I was lashing out on people.
Well, it's good that you identified that. So how did you fix that to not lash out on people?
Honestly, it just took everything inside me, all my energy.
Okay. I like that.
It takes a lot of energy.
Definitely. Whenever, like, you're angry, you have to rechannel that energy and focus it. So I can see how that would definitely work. I'm really, excited to hear about how this cannabis, like, I know when I'm angry, like, as a mom, like, I can be angry at times, like, when the kids don't do what they need to do, or when, like, I'm, like, they get in trouble at school, or, there's always something to be mad about. The dishes aren't done, and I asked you 5 times. Like, there's always something, and I definitely feel like, for me, cannabis, like, really simmers me down, to prevent me from exploding or, like, snapping on the kids the way that I want to sometimes. Sometimes I imagine me snapping, but I'm like, oosa, go to the bathroom and count to 5, girl. Just count, okay? Go count, and if that doesn't work, just go roll a fat fucking blunt, damn it. And then I go upstairs and I roll me a fat blunt, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. count to 5. Yeah, that's a good idea. And I go on upstairs and I just roll me a fat blunt, and then I come downstairs, get done whatever they didn't do, and then kind of give some form of punishment or take some form of something and hear them cry about it or be mad about it, and then I go about my business.
Right.
But I do get that little bit of retaliation as a mom. So since I don't know if I couldn't go lay the law down, as I would say. If I couldn't do that, how I would. I don't really associate with so many a lot of other people. I'm more of a housebound person, or I limit my communications other than internet wise.
I used to be a social butterfly.
Me too, and now I'm just antisocial face to face, but internet wise, we can talk all day. I will message you back when I get a moment, or in between this moment and the next moment. But as far as just being able just to pull up at your house and hang out and chill, I don't have the time. I have a family. I have diseases. I don't feel good half the time. I've got a million chores and responsibilities, I feel like. And if I don't do what I need to, then the house falls apart and I fall into a deep depression. So.
Exactly. I feel you on that.
It's like a rabbit hole. So I just chill, do my thing, be Cinderella, and smoke me some weed.
Yep, that's pretty much what we could do.
Yeah, I feel like the weed is where my savior is.
Same.
It's if I didn't have it, I don't know who or which one of my friends or which one of the kids I would have done jacked up by now. Honestly, it keeps me calm and USA, and it allows me to tap into my inner self and just be like, girl, chill, it's not even that serious, just let it go.
Be like, girl, it ain't that serious,
Yeah, I just let it go.
Let it go, girl.
Yes, and
oh my God, I forgot this is on podcast.
It's okay. See, smoking weed, that's what it does.
See, I got a little feminine side.
Yeah, but no, honestly though, I just have to put myself in check sometimes, and I think that when I get high, I can be my biggest supporter, critic, or whatever I need to be at that moment. Weed helps me tap into that inner power.
Oh, I totally agree.
So, who has been your support system through all of this for you? Has somebody been there for you? Was somebody helping you at the hospitals, or bringing you stuff, or just being there?
Something. It just brings up so much memories. Gotta keep her name anonymous on that.
Right,
one too.
Anonymous friend.
But, yeah, I do. If she was to ever hear this, she should know that I will always love her. She'll always be my best friend. 100%. Just be good.
Okay. So hopefully she's listening and she hears. Hopefully she reaches out to mend whatever it is that's going on between the two of you.
No, she's not in the group.
Okay. Well, this airs on a lot of platforms, actually. Like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Alexa, TuneIn, FM radio, Mixer, 30-something different platforms.
Sweet.
So it's actually worldwide as well. So if you want, you can share your Facebook link or your full name, all your stuff, if you want someone to find you or reach out or anything as well. But at this point, I definitely would, appreciate you coming on and opening up about your mental health and being able to share some of the trials and tribulations that you endured.
Yeah, definitely.
Would you like to share your Facebook?
Not at the moment. I'll when I see the link, I'll post it under.
Okay, perfect. Well, I appreciate you coming on, Tim, and I look forward to doing a follow-up with you, and hopefully your friend reaches out. I wish you the best of luck with that, And until next time, everyone, thanks for joining the 420 Smoke Room.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.